Hi guys, isn't it a wonderful day to procrastinate? And that's what I'm doing now as I'm making this video for you. And this is gonna be a video about 10 signs how you can tell that the person you're talking to may be a person you're developing a close friendship with, or are online dating, or who's your close online friend, or whatever. Could be a catfish. And this video is going to draw from my own experience as well as from my friends or other online friends that I know for real. It's all real sources, but very diverse sources, but I think most I'm going to draw from my own experience. I've once been catfished friendship-wise and once love-wise. At least there was no money involved, but I've got plenty of sad money involving catfish stories from friends. And after you've seen this video, I'll be so excited if you tell me your catfish stories in the comments below. Number one sign for your person that you're talking to being a catfish is that they are not willing to show you a photo of themselves, or they have been showing you the same photo for ages and are not willing to show you a new one, and in general rarely put new pictures on their Facebook profile or whatever. I understand there's very private people out there, so this is really about a person you've been getting so close with that it starts to become strange that they won't show you a photo or won't show you a new photo. This is often a very sure sign that they are not who they claim to be. Often these people use the same picture all the time or have a weird reason why they would never show you a picture at all. Often catfish people took their picture from somewhere else. Very often it's a picture of a friend or relative that they think is much more prettier than themselves, but it's also quite often a random person's pictures off the web, and they have no new source to get more pictures of that person sometimes, and that can be a reason why they won't show you new pictures, or they won't show you the kind of picture you requested, being like, oh no, I can't do this and I can't take a picture like that. So I think a way to make sure that your person is who at least they are showing you on the pictures is to ask them to take a picture in a specific pose. Tell them a really silly pose that you two are going to do on your pictures to confirm you're real, even if it's just something like taking a picture going like this, or I don't know, something like that. In MySpace days, people used to make signs for each other where they would like write the other person's name on their hand and take a picture. But I mean, even then it was that good. But nowadays, Photoshop is so good and so many people have basic Photoshop knowledge that they can easily fake a signed picture. So make sure it's a weird pose where the elbows are visible, so like the arms can be photoshopped in and everything. So yeah, that's a very telltale sign. And also, yeah, you got some advice now. That wasn't even supposed to be in the video, but there you are. That was free. This is one that I've heard very often from friends. My catfishes did not use this, but many others did. So what is a strange sign in a way is they will very often, when you ask for some kind of confirmation of their identity, keep mentioning trust. They will be like, oh, don't you trust me? You have to trust me. This friendship is not a good friendship or relationship if we don't trust each other. I've had so many catfish stories involved that the person was constantly pushing the other person to trust them. And this is some pep talk to you, dear viewer, if you are actually possibly being catfished. Don't let someone manipulate you with their request for trust. Trust is something that has to be earned. Don't let someone tell you that trust is a proof of love or friendship. Trust is something that you gain over time and that you don't just give away. Then you could basically trust anyone, couldn't you? And you don't trust just about everyone. You trust people who've earned your trust. Let's move on to number 3. If your person in question often asks you to block people that you don't even know and have never spoken to, something might just be up. It might be ex-partners by them, of course, who are trying to talk to you and might badmouth the other person. But this is rarely the case. Often your catfish asks you to block a person that has actually identified them as a catfish. So I advise you to not block them. They might just have an important information for you. Of course, if the person is bothering you, feel free to block them. You don't have to subject yourself to abuse. But if nothing actually happened and you don't even know this person, you might just wait a little until you actually follow that, or maybe not do it at all. I think I could have done better if I would have not listened to my catfish asking me to block people. Number 4. Some of you might have seen the TV show Catfish, and this has happened there so often, but I've also heard this from friends. Some people who are catfishing are very afraid of being on the phone, either because of their identity, their true identity being uncovered, or if they are who they are but have some kind of ulterior motive to what they are doing and how they're talking to you. They might just get afraid of being on the phone because maybe they can't keep their heartless act up of what they're doing anymore. So if the person absolutely refuses to be on the phone with you, although you've talked to each other for a while, something might be up. And there's not the weird excuse of not having a phone, which is a bit strange, and I'm gonna mention that one later. But there's Skype, there's Facebook calling, there's a lot of ways to call each other. There are free apps to call each other if you need one. Line Messenger is a really reliable one. So that's not a valid excuse either, and don't take that excuse. Something might be up if that person even refuses those methods of calling. Of course, it is awkward to call someone that you don't know. Me and my long distance girlfriend, like we were very scared before we called each other, but we knew we had to do it at some point to feel confident about buying plane tickets and so on to see each other. So yeah, you might, after some weeks, months of talking to each other, just push your person to call, and if they still refuse, something might be up. Sign number 5 is actually an extension of the first point I mentioned, which is photos. And this point is me saying that it can be strange if the person has no new photos for months or even years. If you talk to each other for years and the person is still using the same picture as when you met each other, something is going on, I think. Most people after at least a year feel like their current profile picture or whatever is not representing them anymore. And if you are dating someone online or in a really close relationship, you might want to send some new pictures sometimes. If the person never does that, that's a bit weird. Also, at some point I'm going to mention about this. If the picture turns up in odd places on a Google reverse image search, something might be going on. Yeah, your friend might be claiming that their pictures were stolen, but most likely that's not the case. I know it happened to a lot of people from MySpace times when they were kind of like seen famous. Their pictures got taken a lot because everybody wanted to have those crazy hairstyles and clothing styles back then. But most likely that means your crush or friend took those pictures from somewhere. A good way to possibly find a picture is Google reverse image search. But by now there's a lot of servers who offers that, and it's worth to run the picture in question through those a couple of times. Sign number 7, I don't even feel like I'd have to mention this, but for the sake of this video being like almost a complete guide to the first signs of identifying a catfish, I want to mention if your catfish asks you for money, something might be up. And when it's about money, this whole thing takes a level of abuse that is not in any way excusable anymore. Some people catfish because they're bored, because they're unconfident in their personality, because they're unhappy with how they look or what they are achieving in life. Some people fake their gender because they are actually confused about their gender identity. And those are some reasons that where catfishing is still cruel, but you can understand it to some degree. But catfishing to get people to give you money, that's, in my feeling, the vilest kind of catfishing. If someone is asking you for money and you've never seen them for real life, I mean, lending or gifting someone money is a very serious issue, and you should never do it to someone that you just met online and you're not sure about. If your person in question asks about money, be careful, and I recommend to not do it. Don't send any. Number 8 in my list of signs is a very serious issue that I asked you to put a lot of thought into. If the person in question asks you about sexy pictures or sexy camming and so on, be careful. I'm not conservative or anything. If you have a long distance relationship, maybe sometimes you feel like sending some raunchy pictures or goofing around on camera, and that's fine. But be aware of technology and how things can be tracked and how someone can actually film videos of what you're doing on screen. So be careful. But if it's between two consenting adults, do what you want. But if the person is pressuring you into sending sexy pictures or undressing in front of the camera, maybe without them turning their cam on, something is wrong and the person might be catfishing you just to have some sexual fun in front of the screen. This happens really often with catfishes. They are in touch with you via Facebook or mail, or they use some kind of messenger that works on the computer and not the phone, and they claim to not have a phone. That is not only strange because nowadays I think almost everyone has a mobile phone, but it also gives them an opportunity to act more anonymous towards you. They don't have to give you anything real. A Facebook profile, even if it has tons of friends, is not a proof of a person being real. And anyways, if they're using this as an excuse to get out of a phone call, there's Skype, there's Facebook calling, and there's other kinds of messengers you can use to actually be on the phone. So don't allow this to be an excuse for them not proving their identity. My last point in this list, point number 10, is about that person avoiding certain kinds of proofs to keep their identity trait that they are faking concealed. So this might apply to people who are faking their age or faking their gender. Signs that someone might be faking their gender are that they absolutely refuse to meet up, although you've known each other for a very long time and could meet up in a public place. And there's trust established, but the person still doesn't want to meet up. Same might go for phone calls if the person maybe fakes to be a girl or a boy and doesn't have the voice to go with that. If you're really planning to meet that person, you should ask them to actually send you a picture of their identity card showing their name, photo, and date. I don't have a really great advice for spotting that kind of catfishing or knowing how to identify it, but at least you can see if maybe they're hiding certain points and tackle the problem from there. If you have suspicions, and voice them really nicely to your person and say that you are worried and you appreciate them so much and you like them so much that you're scared that they might not be real. So here we are at the end of my list of signs that the person you're talking to might be catfishing you. And I want to give you a few more words of advice on what to do in this situation. Now, if you are very concerned that your friend or lover or crush or whatever is catfishing you, I think what you can do is give them an opportunity to tell you the truth and try to make them feel comfortable. Voice your concerns in a nice way. Tell them that you like them so much that you are scared of them not being real, and that you won't be mad at them if they reveal themselves early enough, and that you're just afraid of getting hurt. And I think giving that person a gentle way to reveal themselves and giving them the opportunity and tell them that you won't be super mad and breaking off contact, that might help them to actually out themselves and tell you the truth. But there are also points in my list where you could see that the person might have malicious intent. So if any of those reasons that were listed, that were like pressuring you to get naked or pressuring you to send money or stuff like that, then I think you should really reconsider if you should keep talking to this person, and you can ask them about it slightly more, I don't want to say aggressively, but yeah, go forward a little bit more. Ask them why they're doing this and why they think that you should trust them on that level and how they've earned that level of trust. So my final words, don't send money, tit pics or dick pics to people you don't know. and don't let someone that you don't know take huge control over your life. Because I've had a friend who's been driven crazy by online friends and has been worried about them all day and's been talking about them all day, and they were bombarding her with their problems and so on, and she was so busy she was missing parts of her real life for these people who turned out not to be who they were. And same goes for wasting years on a potential lover that is in the end not who they say they are, or is not like they say they are. So yeah guys, this was, I hope, an interesting video, and maybe has helped some of you people or made some of you people think. If you have a friend that's being catfished, speak to them gently and in an understanding way and try to express your concern. I know that love is blind and intense friendship can very much be like love. So forgive them if they don't really want to see the signs and point them towards it gently. Maybe direct them to my video. I've been through some of these things and I really wanted to help.